Welcome to another episode of the Truth Next podcast. Today is promising to be very exciting, interesting, and educative. I have a very wonderful guest in our midst, a personality that have done a lot in our society. I'll give him the opportunity and the privilege for him to introduce himself personally to us. Sir, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Please, can you just introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, I'm Barrister Solomon Morigi. Presently, the principal counsel with Solomon Morigi Chambers.
Wow. Wow. We are with a barrister today, and we are very, very happy that he was able to come to our studio today. This podcast is promising to be very exciting and electrifying, and I believe we're going to learn a lot from this podcast. Sir, please, we have been having some certain things that have been bothering us, and we decided to say the best person we should ask should be a lawyer, a barrister that should be able to educate us on this. Because personally, many persons have signed some agreements that they after signing the agreement, it looks as if they did not sign any agreement. And the seller, the buyer will come back again and say, no, we're not doing like that. So our question is this, sir. How can we protect ourselves before signing or during the process of signing our agreement to make sure that the agreement is very, very authentic? How do we do that?
Okay, I think that it depends on individuals that the person may be dealing with.
Okay.
For example, the law requires that when you are dealing with an illiterate, somebody that cannot read nor write, such a person should thumbprint with an illiterate jurat.
Wow.
That illiterate jurat is to the effect that the wordings is just that this document has been interpreted to him in the best language he understands, which he will specify. It could be Urobo, could be Bini, that he understands it before he will thumbprint. It also applies to where you are dealing with a blind person, somebody that doesn't see. So in that situation, there must be a blind jurat just to show that, an indication to show that, oh, this person is thumbprinting, the document having been explained to him, simpliciter.
Wow.
And if that is not done, that same person can come in the future to say it is not, I never signed this, I never knew when this one was signed. You get the point. So such a person can say, oh, well, you telling me that I signed something? Show me, let me see. By the time you show the person, say me, I never signed this thing.
I didn't do it.
The Latin word for that is scriptum peditum non est factum. That is, it is not my act. Not my act.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, that can be a defense for such a person. So it is advised that you meet a legal practitioner. Just using roadside papers to write, and then somebody signs. Everybody will go home, but the enforcement is the issue. When the time of the enforcement comes, it could also apply. Let's say you want to make a deed of transfer of a property, like a landed property. And now, let us say you are doing it for your child. Now, the law is that a child does not have the right or capacity to do some certain transactions. Like
but nowadays
contracts.
we do buy property in the names of our children, like just buy property.
It's not. In fact, it is wrong. It is wrong. What the person should do in that capacity? Because what we are trying to say is that where is that person is a child, is not up to 18 years. The law is that you, let us say, with your name now, you now say for and on behalf of your child. You get the point now.
Okay.
So the transferor is there, then the transferee, it will not be your name for and on behalf of that child. If you were to put that child in the eyes of the law, that document is invalid ab initio. Ab initio, yes. So it is expected that you put it that way. Because if you don't do that, it is invalid. So that is why it is good to consult a lawyer before you enter any transaction. There are certain transactions that people enter. At the end, you will now discover that you are not supposed to enter. It could even be the issue of when it comes to borrowing money. You want to borrow money. If you meet a lawyer will be able to tell you that, are you registered?
Okay, before you can borrow.
Yes. You must be registered under the CAC, So you don't just go there. And what interest are you asking for? The law stipulates interest for borrowing, except it is friendly loan, for example. So these are some of the things that people don't know out there. And when you enter, by the time you enter the agreement, because the law is like the Latin word, pacta sunt servanda. That is, parties are bound by the agreements. So by the time you have not entered that agreement, when there is problem, when the law wants to now interpret, you'll now be saying, this is not how we enter. This is not, but you have missed it by then, because it is that agreement that will be used for interpretation. When it is now interpreted, that's when you now see that what I entered was just. In fact, sometimes the court will use the word that whatever you entered without the rightful way of the law, it is just what you have entered is just a mere piece of paper. It's a trash that should be put in the dustbin of history.
Wow.
Yes, that is it. So that is why it is good. You consult a lawyer. You ask questions when necessary, and then I will always advise people. Like one of the judges advised Lord Denny, Master of Rules. He said if it were possible for everyone to be attached or everyone to have a lawyer, it would have been very good. Everyone, yes, as a family, you have a lawyer. Just as you say, I have a doctor, a medical doctor. Yeah, you should have a lawyer. Every step you want to take, call. Because many times it is when trouble has arisen, that is when you now see they will not be calling a lawyer. But then, the money you would have given to a lawyer, for, as a retainer. As a retainer, you are retaining the lawyer. At the end, you now spend more money when you then consult him personally, and then you are not in trouble. He will not ask you for bigger money. But if you were just a family lawyer you will know how to beautiful. Wow. So that is the point.
That's to say, it is not advisable for you to go to cyber cafe and just write an agreement, and we say we have an agreement.
If you enter such agreements, it is just a mere paper. You just enter a mere paper. I want to give you an example. Presently, I was invited. I think there's a matter at Idogbo where Idogbo police station, where somebody called this woman, said he gave the document to the mother and said, "Mother, give me my document," because she used the name of the daughter in writing the document. Why they wrote it, I think some years ago, 2014 or so. So he said, "Give me my document." The mother said, "I will not give you." Because they were not in good terms. So she asked, "What is it?" The next thing, she now discovered that document was now passed. They say it's now with the elder brother. So he went to the police station. The police invited them. You bring the documents.
Yeah.
So by the time they saw the document, they now discovered that it was in the name of the daughter.
That they use in buying the property.
So the mother is not using that style. I wouldn't know what they are trying to do. But by the time I entered the matter, the Dogbo police station, I must be specific, the DPO is doing well. I think SP Solomon is doing well. So by the time I discussed with him, yes, he said, "Barrister, you are right." But the truth is, in as much as I accept the fact that this woman is the person that owned our property, but there's no way this child will buy our property at the age of 2.
Wow.
But at that time, that girl was like 2 years, even below. So we were just reasonable. We now said, okay, no problem. You give it to the child so that the child can hand over to the mother. And that was what we now did after I intervened. So, but all these things would have come if the woman had followed the law.
Due process.
Yes. You get the point now. So she just went to a business center. Those ones don't know anything, so to speak. They just did it. And maybe she would have paid, let us say then, maybe like 20,000. And I say, let me go and do a business center at 2,000. You need to give the lawyer 20,000, maybe 10% of it. Then you are not giving 2,000. But at the end, when she spent money at the police station at this time, it became higher. So it is better to be at the safer side,
Just
do the
do it
needful,
in a very
and then
good
you will
way.
see that everybody will be happy. And there is this psychology. When you write a document before a lawyer, parties know that if we break this law, or if we renege on our promises on what we have written here,
There'll be a problem.
beautiful. You get the
That way,
point?
yeah.
So if it's a person that is fraudulent, he will run away from that business.
Yes.
He will run away because he
there's
knows that.
problem ahead.
But if you just know that, hey, let's just quickly business, he will say yes. Oh yeah, let's just go and do it there. So it is better to be on the safer side. You may spend more money, but the end part of it, when you know you have done the needful, it is better.
But in most cases, when things like this occur, sir, when things like this happen in most cases, and the person is trying to say, okay, not be so we talk not be so we happen. I feel that was what gave rise to people, gave the how will I put it now? That was what gave birth to people now relying on traditional means, like they say you have to swear juju. Since you talk, say, not be so we take do am. You swear juju for it. You go to many places now, and they will drag the person to to different shrine to say, okay, since you are saying that we did not do it like this, you swear an oath that, okay, we didn't do it like this. Can the law reverse that?
Well, the issue of oath, you going to oath. Well, you can do that. People used to do that, but you know that is what we call trial by ordeal.
Wow.
It's also against the law.
Okay, it's against the law.
It's against the law. And I want to be specific here. I think I was in court last week, and I was telling the judge, there is something I was trying to explain. I said, I was telling the president, the customary court, that, Your Honor, the other side, the defendants are so diabolical. He said, no, there is no witchcraft in law. I said, well, I'm not talking about witchcraft. I'm not talking about witchcraft. I'm talking about being diabolical. Being diabolical. Why, if it is not there, why is it a crime in the criminal law? In our criminal code, it's a crime to carry diabolical things and the rest. So, it depends on what they do there. But trial by ordeal in our law,
It's a sin.
is a crime.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a crime. So, for you to avoid those things, you just follow what the law is. Because by the time they now know that, oh, you went to this place, you now subjected the person to drink this kind of water, or if that one happens, and the person now goes to the extent of going to police station, that is already a crime. Right? So, you know, a civil matter turning to a criminal matter. So, from the outset, it is better you do the needful. So that when you start with that civil part, the civil part will conclude it. But by the time you are feeling that we are going to the shrine
To go and do it.
then you are bringing fusion, and that will lead to real problem.
Wow. He's becoming more interesting over here. We are learning a lot. We are really, really learning a lot, I must confess. And Barrister have opened our eyes to so many things that we have been doing ignorantly. Most of us, we just sign documents and we say, I don't do. At the end of the day, when the problem actually starts, we notice that it is not as we said it. That's how it's not happening. Because many persons, you borrow money to them, at the end of the day, you're going to end it up with quarreling and different type of things. So we advise that if we are borrowing that money, we should look for a legal person that we help, a lawyer, a barrister that should help us to do that. That brings me back to the area of, down to the area of tenancy. You know, nowadays, a friend of mine just newly packed from the house he's staying. The landlord increased the range from, I think, 400 to 900,000. With that, he just wake up and said, my rent is now 900,000. If you cannot stay, you go, pack out. What does the law actually say about this? Does the landlord has this legal right to just wake up overnight and just say, I've increased this rent outrageously, like just increase it anyhow without any other consideration?
Well, I must be specific here. Mm, without ado, about much words. The law is that the landlord has the right to decide who to enter his house,
Wow.
who to quit. Then, on the issue of tenancy, it is our tenancy law does not regulate how much
The landlord
you
should take.
good. You get the point now. So there is no hard and fast rule about it. But that having been said, there are some certain things that in law we talk about morality, we talk about law, right?
Yeah.
It is natural that if you want to increase the rent, first of all, you have to give reasonable time. Supposing the person is a yearly tenant, immediately he pays his money. Let's say he pays every January.
Okay.
So by the time it is February, January to the December, right,
Yes.
of 2026. By the time it is February, you give him a notice, or you give her a notice that from next year
Payment.
it has been increased. So it is at that point that he or she will now meet you as a landlord to say, I may not be able to pay this, so this is what I will pay. If the landlord says no, I don't want it, then you have to look for a place.
Wow.
You get the point now. Another thing, from what I've said now, there are things that we can glean from it. One, the fact that you have to give a notice to that effect,
Yeah.
and the fact too that notice there must be reasonable time. So that is what you should put to mind. But as to the landlord does not have the right to increase your rent, that is not what it is. So on a moral ground, the landlord should do that within a space of time. There are houses I'm managing, and when they say they want to increase a house, I first of all look at the economy. Why has the landlord decided to increase it? That's one. Why? Two, could it have been that the landlord has developed
The
that
place.
property?
Yes.
You get the point now. There was no borehole, there's not borehole. You get the point. So if or there was some certain facility that was actually not in the house was not painted, but now it's now painted. If all those things have been done, why not? But if not, like the houses I manage, I don't encourage in fact, I discourage landlords from increasing. For me, I look at what I think. I used to think that, which is still the same till date, that you are saying that the economy is getting higher, right?
Yes.
Things are getting higher.
Yeah.
Things are getting higher. And then you are also increasing the rent. Are you adding more suffering to the people, to the tenants? Now, what I'm saying now is moral. It's not law.
Wow.
So I want you to differentiate between those two. So because as lawyers, we are taught morality, we are taught law. There are certain things that are morally right, but may not be legally right. It may not be in law, but just out of... Okay, let me give you an example. During the COVID-19, I have a client that told me that, okay, all my clients, all my tenants, what you do, they should not pay for the year.
For real?
Yeah, during the COVID-19. I have a client here. Yeah, one Mr. Abege. Yeah, in Italy also. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Say they shouldn't pay for the rent.
Yes, they should not pay. I manage his properties. So, that is his... If he felt something in him, that, these people are suffering, and then they don't leave the house, and many things must have... Okay, don't worry, to just help you, no payment. So that is it. So issues like this on a normal ground, it is more of morality. You can appeal to the conscience of the landlord.
Wow.
To say, sir, the economy is so tight, but it's not you are increasing. But I'm not saying I will not pay. However, instead of saying 250, Epa, can I pay 200? You get the point. It's negotiable, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
negotiation, yes.
So, but if he insists, you cannot go to court to say, my
you're
lord,
not doing.
yes, I will not pay, but I will stay in the house. No,
It's not done that
it's
way.
not your house. And another thing that these people used to think, they will tell you, like one I was talking with, like one landlord I was talking with. So the only thing we just concluded, I said, if I will talk later, but now I have not called him.
To talk to him.
Yes, it's in the U.S. And then he said, if I were to think about all my houses that I'm managing, I noticed that, look at when I bought blocks. If I were to buy block now, he asks, you understand the price, you understand? So he's looking at it that way.
Yes.
But, he's an age man. I don't want to be too pushy.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you are looking at the economy then with now, to me, with due respect, that is an error. Because there are things things are changing. Because by the time you increase, let me tell you how inflation comes. When this person increases his products to say, oh, they have increased fuel, the other one will increase. At the end, you now discover that the economy will not be balanced.
Wow.
You get the point. So that is why it will be good that even the government should come in, even within the states, subsidizing things. And that will help. When it happens that things are subsidized, people, the landlord goes to the market, buys the same thing with the tenant, and knows that things are low. It will not lead to somebody saying, oh, I want to increase my rent.
Just like that.
You get the point now.
Yeah.
So both the governments need to be at work. The landlords should know that it is humans that are staying in the house, right?
Yeah.
And they also feel the heat of the economy. So by the time you had to eat, you are making him feel it more and more. And that is why it will be necessary. So answering your question again, repeating what I started with, there is no hard and fast rule about it. It is more of moral than law.
You have to talk to the
point.
Okay, what about the time frame in which a landlord should give to a tenant to exit the property? Like, okay, you have to leave my property, and some will tell you that maybe the rent just ended, the payment ended January, and it's telling the tenant to leave the property by February, and say, go and look for another place, leave my house. If you can't, just go. Not giving the tenant enough time for the tenant to work things out.
Okay. Well, in that situation, the law is clear on that. The law is clear. And what the law says, according to all our tenancy laws, including the recovery of premises,
Yes.
a law that applies here in Edo State, the law is that where a tenant is, let's say, a yearly tenant, the notice that should be given should be 6 months notice,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
From the landlord to the tenants. And that's 6 months. After the 6 months, you not just say you go to court. You need to also give 7 days. It is called owner's intention to recover premises, right?
Yeah.
If the tenant is a 6 month tenant, the law is that the tenant should be given 3 months notice.
To leave.
Yes. After a 3 months notice, it must be followed up when it elapses and the tenant has not still left. Now, at that point, the tenant is now at will. We call it at will, meaning it's not really your tenant again. So you now give the person 7 days.
To exit.
Yes. Owners don't recover premises. After then, that's when you proceed to court, if he doesn't still live. Then, if the tenant is a 3 month tenant, 1 month will be given. So that 1 month, after 7 days, he will need to leave the premise. Okay? If it's a 1 month tenant, you should be given 1 month notice. There's after then 7 days.
To leave.
Right. You get the point.
Yeah.
That is the law. It has been the law. But I want to add something now. It seems to be that with time, tenants were now using that. For example,
Against the landlord.
yes, against the landlord.
Yes.
So the Supreme Court has said presently that wherein a notice has been given, let us say the person is a yearly tenant.
Yes.
A person is a yearly tenant. You were not given 3 months instead of 6 months. So if you come to court to have a defense that my lord is supposed to give me 6 months, he now gave me 3 months. The Supreme Court has said the claim can serve as a notice already. The claim before court, because it took the time of claim after giving 3 months.
You didn't come.
Yes, and then when you were called, so that one serves as a notice itself. So the point is, there is no longer hard and fast rule as to it.
Wow.
But the rationale behind that law is that so that you prepare yourself, and that notice makes it's not easy to get a new house now, right? Yeah. You prepare yourself for it. And I want to also quickly put note that if a person is a yearly tenant, let's say it is from January to December.
December, yes.
December ended. By January, February, you have not still paid. You have not renewed the rent.
You are owing.
Yeah, you are owing. Take note. You are no longer entitled to that 6 months.
Notice. Anymore.
Yes, you are no longer entitled. The law is that 7 days should be given. Owners intending to recover premises. Because at this point, you are no longer a tenant, but a tenant at will. Yes. So vice versa, it works the same way. What applies
helps the landlord, it helps the tenant.
Yes,
okay.
yes, you get the point now. So that is what should be taken note of. So for the landlord, you should take note of this. For the tenant, you should take note of this. So don't feel that those notices were not given. So therefore, or for you to feel as a tenant that I'm a 6-month tenant now. Although my rent ended by December, and this one is February, I have not paid, so you should give me 6 months. No, you are no longer entitled to it.
Okay, you are owing now.
You are waived your right as a yearly tenant.
Wow.
And it also applies to, I must stay hard, wherein you are a 6-month tenant, or let's say you are a yearly tenant, and in that yearly, instead of the first time you enter the house, is yearly. Let's say you enter the house 2025.
Yeah.
By 2026, you now gave 6 months to the tenant, for the landlord.
To the landlord.
You
didn't pay that full year.
Yeah, you not pay. Later, as the month wanted to end, you now also, let's say as the year wanted to end, you now gave 6 months again.
Balance.
Yeah. By operation of law, you have removed yourself from a yearly tenant.
To a 6 months.
Yeah. So when notice is coming, don't expect 6 months notice. It will be 3 months.
Wow.
That is what the law says. That is the practice.
This is wonderful. This is very wonderful. Something is breaking the internet already, so I don't know if you are aware of this. But I quickly want to bring this to your notice before we call it a wrap on the Truth's Nest podcast. So there's something that is very I don't want to use the word that is getting out of hand in the internet speaks. Let me divert to this issue that I know you must have, permit me, you must have come across this issue that houses are being demolished by our current governor. When you do anything that is happening that is wrong, the governor is doing a good job. He demolishes the house and stuff like that. And there's a tenant in the house. His rent haven't expired. And the house was demolished. Does the tenant have the right to sue the landlord of that property?
In that situation, it is not the governor that should be blamed. At least the governor has already given notice to that effect. I think you are referring to courtesan matters and the rest.
Yes.
He has already given notice to that effect. And I must correct one impression. When that, I think somebody came to my office that day and was mentioning that I think a colleague told him there are some certain monies that should be paid. I think my client is from France. Money to be paid. Wherein, let's say, there is, I think he was referring to, there are some certain documents that the government say you should fill,
Yeah.
so that if by the time a person wants to get into the house, if anything happens, they will now say, yes, he wrote this, that is not this, it's not that, it's not a Curtis, it's not. Well, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. I think the main point, what the governor is doing, which is laudable and beautiful, is to remove courtesan around, which
From
has
the
now
society.
become, yes, it's as if those states is now known for things like that. But as to the issue of destroying houses and then there are tenants inside, the burden lies on the landlord.
But in most cases,
Not
we
the
found out
government.
in most cases we found out that the landlord is being arrested. I saw one. A friend of mine called me. I saw one that they have to hurriedly evacuate their properties and leave the premises. So in that case, you don't have the landlord to even hold now. That's the problem. So that's to say the tenant just lost his or her money and like that.
Except if the landlord is dead.
Okay.
Did he die?
No,
If he's alive, he will after running off from the governor's problem, he will enter the other tenants issue. And that is why landlords are more careful. In fact, one of my clients told me recently that, barrister, please make sure any tenant entry now, please as I'm abroad now, the strength I used when I was young, I cannot build another house again.
yeah.
So the point I'm stressing that is that a courtist is being found, somebody engaging in courtism is being found in a house.
Yeah.
Does not mean that the governor will destroy that house. That's not the point. See the point. Wherein that house is used for courtist activities. That's the point. Because many people are carrying this rumor that the governor said if you are a courtist in any house. No. So if anybody does that, it's going beyond the administrative pronouncement of the governor. That is not what it is. He did not do it to begin to run after anybody as it were. No.
Yes.
You get the point. If anybody is using that place for any activity, of course, even the criminal code says that, apart from what the governor said, any activity that is not legal and a house is being used for it, that house, in fact, is liable already.
Yes, it belongs to the government.
Yeah, so addressing that issue, you see, in any lease agreement, whether rent, lease, and anything happens to that property, either maybe the landlord decides to sell the property or by an act of God, maybe wind carried the property and the rest. It should be sorted out between the landlord and the tenant. It is not the governor. The governor does not have any hand. He has already given the warning, administrative instruction. This is what I want here. That's why it's called the governor. He decides. So if you go beyond, the only place that can help you is maybe you go to court. You get the point now. That's the only place. But as to the issue of liability, I paid you the rent. I am not a courtist.
Yes.
They did not come here because of me, and they destroyed it finally. You have to call your landlord that, please, immediately he is now through with the governor. He will come and finish with you, because if not, there are a lot of things to sue him for. Is it damage? Is it the issue of the fact that your money is with him? So damage your property, the money that is with him, because in fact, immediately you sign a tenancy agreement. Immediately you start
But what about a case that it was just verbal, no agreement, nothing?
That's what I'm saying now. I'm coming over. Immediately you sign an agreement, right? That's one. Immediately there is a receipt of payment. Yes, you are exchanging receipt that every month I paid this. You are his tenant. You get the point now. And there's already a contract between two of you. And that's why in law, even as lawyers, when we go to court, to show that person is your tenant, you must issue a receipt. So you must tender that receipt. If not, the court last jurisdiction to handle that matter. You get the point now. So as far as there is exchange of receipts or there is tenancy agreement between you both, then anything that comes out of that tenancy, after all, you are collecting the money.
Yeah.
So you return the money. That is what the law says. There's nothing beyond that.
Let's take it back to the aspect of the tenant now. Just as you said just now, you said there are some properties that the owners are not here. And it happens in that case that the owner is not actually here, and the tenant that moved into that property used it for a court-related activity. And at the end of the day, the governor came and the house was demolished. And with some cases we are saying, I will see that some of the people involved are being jailed, if not killed. They are being jailed. What is the position of the landlord concerning the law? Can the landlord go after maybe the family of the tenant to pay for the property, stuff like that?
No, in that situation, there's already vicarious liability. This time on the side of the tenant. If the tenant is, let us say, this tenant now has been adjudged that is a courtist.
Yeah.
And he wrote a confessional statement at the police station that yes, I'm a courtist, because it's a criminal offense. To the extent that even the way it is now, it is now as if an offense for death sentence. Although that is a story for another day, because that matter is still rolling now, because the law is striked. The issue of death sentence has been removed from our law, so to speak. The issue of saying the governor can sign for death to kill and the rest. But that is a story for another day, because the issue of right to life is a strong matter. Now, on that issue, wherein you are mentioning now the tenants or the landlord on the other side, he can sue that tenant. That is if the tenant, because if somebody is now in police custody, or has been adjudged, or has been said, okay, you have been sentenced to 10 years imprisonment.
Yes.
How would you sue? So that is another issue. But the liability lies on
the landlord,
the tenant
tenants.
now.
Wow.
The tenant now. So if the tenant is out, the landlord can pick him again
To answer to that particular issue.
Yes, for damages.
Wow.
Yes, so you have damaged the house now. It's a criminal offense. You have to pay. So that's the law.
Wow. It's becoming more electrifying over here. Really, really becoming more electrifying. We are almost calling it a wrap on the Truth Nest podcast. But we will not allow our barrister to leave without answering to this very last question on the Truth Nest podcast. Sir, with all due respect, sir, do you think that if something happens between two parties, we can still rely on the judicial system of Nigeria?
Well, the answer to that question is a resounding yes. The beautiful thing, in fact, that statement that has always been made, that the judiciary, the last hope of the common man, still remains. There are a lot of plethora of cases that have brought this truth with time. I don't want to refer to old matters that must have happened, but I want to just refer to latest issues. Do you know that it was the courts that gave a judgment recently that a police officer, while in his course of duty as a public servant, can be videoed?
But in most cases, the citizens are beaten for doing that.
No.
Just say you're holding a phone and say, they record me. At the end of the day, you just see them slapping the
not now. I told many of my clients, I don't know, they can call them Yahoo boys, I don't know, but I told them, even when the issue of phone came about, in fact, it is even the police that is even saying nobody has right to check your phone. Nobody. It's the police. It's not even court now. I'm not talking about it. I'm not referring to court. You get the point now. So there was a place I think I was traveling on that fateful day, wherein they started session. For me, I did not put my mind there. But the next thing I saw was that the police was saying, open your phone, and slapped the young man. But by the time I got there, I said, do you have rights? Return that phone to this man. They say, are you a lawyer? I said, no, it's not about law. It's not about being a lawyer.
Yeah.
It is wrong what you are doing. Even your guy at the top told you that you should not be doing this.
Don't check their phone.
So the point is that most things that happen, my brother, it is because of the fact that we citizens, either that we know our rights, we don't act on it, or that we fear. Yes, now, fella once said that people are afraid. Nobody want die. They don't want die. People don't want to. They don't want to talk to say, if I talk now, they may shoot me. Who will shoot you? Tell the policeman, this what you are doing is not the right thing. And the next thing you will look at you and say, this person knows what he's saying. So coming to the part we were discussing on, the issue of court judgments. It was the court that made that judgment. And that I think that judgment is up to just a few months now. So with that judgment, it means that nobody can just come and then begin to tell you about, tell you something. And after then, everybody goes and then he carries you anywhere. And by the time he's talking, you don't have any witness. And that is why many people, they are glasses now. They are computerized. Yes. They watch you. You get the point now? They watch you. Yes. So when videoing them, it may be something embarrassing. But when you are with your this thing, that's evidence.
But I don't know if you have traveled highway recently. That when you travel highway, these things we are saying, because a friend of mine complained this thing 2 days back. These things we are saying because me, when I'm driving on an highway, sometimes I will not say I've been embarrassed once by a police officer. I don't know if it's due to the way I approach them or the way I talk to them, because I talk to them in a more respectful and matured manner. But some of my people are complaining that when you're in a highway close to a bush and something is happening, maybe your friend just try to say, okay, let me record the scenario in case anything goes wrong. You see the police officer will be telling you that if I do you anything, nothing will happen. Nobody will ask you. And
may you see tell him, say, if I do you anything, nothing will happen. Tell him like that.
But it's not in the God. That's the problem.
So, are you only the person in that vehicle?
No.
Except if you are the only person in that vehicle.
Wow.
What makes law? It is witnesses. Law is witness. That is, I was there. I was there. So wherein we have up to 10 passengers, and the police will beat everybody.
No.
So apart from the fact that my kind of person, maybe they wouldn't have allowed me to know the law, because my kind of person one and then the law too.
Wow.
The law is clear. When the law is clear and you have seen it, nobody can tell you what it is, because you know. You are the one that will say, no, you are not supposed to. What are you doing? What are you checking? See, all the time I traveled, I did not school here. I schooled in Ebonyi. From the beginning to the end. No police ever searched me. And even now, I travel a lot now. When I go to...
You don't allow them to search your phone or
what?
You
cannot search me now. Why would you search me? The law is that for you to search a person, you must have suspected that he is with something. The way I'm dressing, does it show that I'm with something? So if or somebody told me that they said they arrested the person because I think one of these police stations, he said they arrested the person had tattoo. I said, what?
But tattoo now.
You own his life. Which law says that when somebody is wearing the tattoo, therefore is a bad person? You see, in law, you do not look at a person. That is why a judge does not look at a person and say, this person is a criminal. No. You must listen to the person. So the police must be taught. See, they teach them well, those their guys at the top, they teach them, but they don't practice it when they get to that.
They do otherwise.
Beautiful. If you have been with those DPOs, if you have been with those... when we say commissioner of police, you see their way, the way they do things. They teach them well. This is what you should do, this is what not to do. But when they get there, because they are dealing with people that they feel that they don't know the law, they mesmerize you. But until you tell them, this is not what the law says. This is what the law says. By the time you are able to mention it, they will keep back. They will know that this person knows what it is. So, apart from the issue of the police, I don't want us to be discussing police issue because I think with time they will start to learn. They will start to learn. I was at police station recently for a matter, and then somebody brought an affidavit.
Wow.
Written with notary public, right?
Yeah.
And then the police officer said, in charge said, no, today is not. I wish today was Saturday. I will accept it, but today is a weekday, so you need to go to the court. I said, what? I said, what did you say? From a notary public? That notary public is the same as commissioner for oath. Do you know what it means for somebody to be a notary public as a lawyer? You must have practiced for 7 years and above. So, and you are saying, so as at that point, I said, I want to go and report to your DPO. Immediately, the woman I said, oh yeah, bring it now. I said, God, that's what you should do. So somebody should talk. Do not keep quiet and say, if I talk now, they will now. No.
Problem.
No, my brother, if you talk, you die. If you don't talk, you die. So just talk now.
Wow.
Say what it is. Okay, so coming to the judiciary.
Yeah.
The judiciary has been the hope of the common man. I gave you that example just now. Let me also give you more. You remember towards the end of the regime of Muhammad Buhari?
Yeah.
Thank you. As the president. The Emefiele saga.
Yeah.
Where the issue of money,
Yes.
the issue of old money and new money.
Yes.
Are you aware that it was the Supreme Court that solved that matter? It was the Supreme Court that said in its judgment that both money, whether it is new or old, it should be used concurrently. That was what solved that problem. Yes, now. So when people talk about judiciary, I just laugh. They remain the hope of at least somebody that can the only body that can talk against the government of the day. Okay, let me give you an example again. Are you aware that as we speak, the issue of environmental sanitation?
Yes.
Sit
at home.
Sit at home. The issue of sit at home. The court has said that it is not as if it is a wrong thing, but the Edo State government stopping people from moving, you get the point, is against their constitutional rights, which is enshrined in Section 41 of our Constitution. That is freedom of movement. So therefore, the Edo State government does not have the powers or the right to stop the citizens from moving on Saturdays, last Saturday of the month. That is the law. And of course, it's even in line with the African Charter.
But they are arresting people all over the places.
Who did you see they arrested?
I've seen some videos whereby they'll be, should I use the word, harassing them, like telling them, why are you outside, why are you doing this, stuff like that, drag them into the vehicle. I've seen a video like that.
I don't know whether they are referring to the former videos before that time. The judgment was given the last week of March by Justice Isoken Erame. I'm specific about it. It was given. So except until they go on appeal, and even if they go on appeal, that judgment stands. So if it happened that somebody arrested, because the rationale for this was that apart from when you say sanitation, the government should provide those things now. When it comes to, is it that there are vehicles that are coming to come and be packing things, or there is something that will not pack things? Those things are not there. You get the point now. So it was now that the agencies, especially the police officers, police and the rest, they were now embarrassing people. There was one circular I saw recently where they said if you come out of the house, because after that judgment too, that there is environmental sanitation, that if you come out from your house and you are being found, you'll be taken to a mobile court. That is a lie. There is no mobile court that will sit on it. There is no mobile court that will sit on it in Edo State because the judgment has been given. No mobile court.
Wow.
If you see any mobile court, call me. That is the judgment. That is the judiciary speaking the truth in line with the law. That is to safeguard the citizens. Yes. This time now against the government. So I'm trying to tell you that the judiciary still remains the hope of the common man.
It cannot be affected, or how will I use that word? It cannot be adjusted with people that are rich. You know, some cases they'll say a rich person just arrested somebody and dumped it inside the police, and they say nothing they happen.
No.
In most cases, they go to the court and they pay a lot of money. And I've heard I've not been a victim of such thing. A situation whereby they'll say, okay, these persons have enough money to just buy it our way through, and at the end of the day, the case that was going for the favor of the person that is the victim now just turned around.
Well, the truth is that I cannot say that everything is perfect in life, right?
Yeah.
I cannot say that. But as much as justice, in law, justice should not be said to have been done, but should be seen to have been done. You get the point?
Seen to have been done.
Yes, it must be seen to have been done. So I cannot say that everywhere is perfect when it comes to judiciary, but I'm saying the judiciary, they are trying their best. And at this point, we should make commendations instead of always using wrong words. Oh, the judiciary is not, the judiciary is this, the judiciary is that. When you meet the courts, when you see some judges talking, sometimes they will drop their books, talk to you. They will just drop, they say, let's talk. You get the point? And take notes. Until you bring a matter to the court cannot address that matter.
You have to bring it there.
Yeah, you have to bring it to the court. So if you're right, like you were talking about environmental now, I'm not aware of anything like that. So until one day you now mention that there is something like this, they just arrested me, and before mobile court, I say, mobile court, okay, let us go there. Let me go and see the mobile court. It may not be what you are thinking. We have different. Have you seen people? Have you not seen people that used to pretend to be police officers? They wear black now. Is it not black?
Yeah.
And they stay there until you now know that these people are not what it is. So sometimes society that you see may not be what it is. And sometimes even the government will not be insulted and say our government is doing this, whereas it's not even the government. There are some people in my area the other day, although I just came, I was surprised. They said the people came and said they want to collect money for the environment. I said, environment? I said, please, next time, anytime they come, you should call me. I will leave my office and come. Let me see those people. Who are those people that are collecting money from people? They say they are from this. What did they can't even wear any shirts. So that is why you must be very careful. And as I said, as much as possible, have your private lawyer.
Yeah, that you can easily
have your private lawyer. Anything that you want to do, just say, I'm coming, let me call my lawyer, so that I will know whether it is like this or like that. Have your private lawyer. So the judiciary has tried. Time will fail me if I begin to mention some beautiful matters, some beautiful cases in which, when it comes to the judiciary, they have really done their best. Especially when it comes to the fundamental rights. Those rights are, we call it inalienable. You can't remove it. So when you infringe that right, you go to court, they want to listen to you. There are occasions wherein we have seen. And I also want to mention too, the judgment of court recently about the road safety. You get the point? Yeah, the road safety. You know, many of them, they go to state roads. There is one I used to see at this...
Upper Road.
Yes, this Agwebo Junction. This Agwebo, I used to see them, and I would be surprised. And there was one day I intentionally just passed. I was slow. I wanted them to... They did not still call me because they have gleaned that the way they knew that because I was wearing suits, they knew that this person, they would not want... But I still stopped. I said, are you supposed to be here? I said, what do they call you, po? That one did not talk. I said, it's called Federal Road Safety Corps. This one is federal. This one is state road now. Upper Sokumba is state road. Then one day when I interviewed one, he told me that, barrister, you know that if there is an emergency now, something bad happens, and they will call us. They will not say whether it's state or federal. They will still go there. Well, that being said, that's not a problem. But you have to monitor federal roads. That is what the law is. Until that law is changed, until the judiciary decides to say it is not like that again, it remains
Like that.
That is the law. So you see the ignorance of the law, as they always say, is not an excuse. It is tied in the Latin maxim, ignorantia juris non excusat. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. You get the point. So wherein it happens that somebody is infringing on your rights, speak out.
Wow.
Speak out. I must also say, sometimes you say, oh, I don't have money for lawyer. Okay. There are a lot of legal hates.
Yeah.
Legal hates. I don't know if you know what do they call it? Our secretariat, the NBA secretariat. Opposite is almost just close to the High Court. If you get to the High Court, just say, where is NBA secretariat? Go there. Tell somebody, get to a place and say, tell a lawyer there. When you enter there, say, I'm looking for a lawyer or the secretary. Yes. When they take you there, say, there is something I'm going through and I don't have money. Don't worry. Allow the lawyers to take over the matter. We are past that stage now where somebody will say, I don't have money. We are past that stage. We have legal aids that can do your matter on pro bono. As a lawyer, as a private lawyer, I even do matters on pro bono, looking at the circumstance of the matter. So if I could do that, there are also organizations that do matters like that. So please, the judiciary remains the last hope of mankind.
The common man.
And please, always try your best to consult until the matter is being brought before the judiciary. You know, there was this forum that we had with the lawyers, with the judges. And the judges said something. He said, we are seeing a lot of things. But until you lawyers bring it before us, we can't do anything. That is the truth. They see these things. They see it. Until you now bring it, and they will now make a landmark judgment on that thing. Will now make a landmark judgment on that thing. So, the judiciary should be trusted. Judiciary, I'm not saying it's perfect, but among all the bodies, both the legislature, both the executive, the judiciary remains the best imperfect organ. The best imperfect. And then we should always consult it from time to time.
With what you said, sir, can I sue a federal road safety or this they are the one involved in giving out driving license.
Driver's license.
Driver's license. Yeah.
Okay.
If I'm not, can I sue them in the sense that you apply for a driver's license, and after you wait for it for like 1 full year, and they tell you that it's not available yet, they'll give you a temporary driver's license.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, you go back again after 3 months. They tell you that it's not still yet available. They will renew that temporary driver license. And in most cases, and in some cases, you find that some officers find their way to use it to embarrass the citizens. Can the Federal Road Safety be sued for that?
Okay, for the delay.
For the delay.
But I wouldn't know the reason why. But ordinarily, matters like this is that this their revenue that handles matters like that. If there are issues like that, I'm not aware. By the time I did my driver's license, I was not given temporary, except wherein we have some individuals. I think I've seen occasion where somebody, I think the person was 18 years or below, wherein he went there. He said he wanted to have driver's license, they now gave him temporary.
Face.
Yes, yes, I've seen an occasion like that. But ordinarily, when I did mine, I got mine immediately.
Wow.
Yes, I got mine immediately, and I'll be renewing it. So I'd never experienced. Did you experience it, or you heard from
No,
someone?
a friend of mine experienced it.
Okay. So, but in the circumstance, they used to have data. I wouldn't know why embarrassment will come, because they used to have data, and they enter that data. When you say, this is my driver license, they hold it.
Yes.
Then they check it. If it is true, if it is not, that is when problem will come.
Sir.
Yeah. And I will also advise that officer that did it for you, you have his number, so that you can always give them for them to talk.
Talk to the
yeah,
officer.
That is what I will advise. That's what I will advise.
Okay.
Because if not, based on sometimes, in Nigeria, some logistics can happen wherein maybe they may tell you, oh, because of the population.
Yes, the traffic.
If not because of when they did this tax, there was this tax matter that they brought one time, in which the court had to lay to rest. They were already going for this federal land revenue. All of them, many people were, that place was filled up.
Yeah.
Until they now said you could use the net. That one now solved the problem. So maybe as they develop more, more development will come. But for the interim, it will be better to take that officer's number,
just
so that
call
anytime
the person,
let them call, so that embarrassment will be removed.
Wow. It's indeed a very wonderful moment with Barrister Solomon. And we want to actually appreciate Barrister Solomon for coming to the Truth Nest podcast today. It's actually a wrap, and we will do our possible best to bring in Barrister Solomon for another episode in our subsequent time. And thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you very much, my brother. It was beautiful being here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So please do it to subscribe to our channel, share, like, and comment. Please, we really want many of you to air your views. We want to know what is actually going on out there. According to Barrister, he said that until the lawyer bring the case to the judge, you did nothing. So it's better that you always tell us comments. Our comment section is always open. We don't lock it up. It's always open. So comment, share your view, so that we should be aware of what is actually going on. Do have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching the Truth Nest podcast. Have a wonderful moment.